The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series.
Actually, no. Getting Radiant Black 3 Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another comically long review. You may have seen the title of this video and figured my friend Bryce was at it again, egging me on to get another Radiant Black video done. Actually, no. Getting Radiant Black number 3 done seemed to calm that. Probably until he sees this, anyway. So, let's take a look at Radiant Black issue number 4. The main cover is pretty but confusing. There's a very clear color contrast between top and bottom. At the top, an imposing robot cast in purple and dark pink. At the bottom, Radiant Black, with light blue light exploding from his chest. Not clear what's going on, but boy is it shiny. This sure is an interesting variant. It's Radiant Black punching down to the left, and his helmet is seemingly partially broken, showing us Nate's angry face inside. Oh, this is beautiful! Radiant Black's helmet with space behind it, with the black hole right where his eye should be. Gorgeous. Nate stands naked with conveniently placed purple smoke. He's understandably confused, asking where he is. A nearby wall answers in that alien Morse code language. He doesn't understand, but the wall starts approaching him. It nearly squishes him, but he emerges into some open space. Still naked, some broken planets in the background, and yeah, a giant robot. Kind of looks like an Omegazord, actually. We suddenly just jump over to Marshall's house where he's watching TV and sharing treats with his dog. He gets texted by Nathan asking what he's up to. He's planning to watch one of his favorite movies, Out of Sight by Soderbergh. Nate says he wants to practice with his powers and needs some help, and Marshall's all for that. Then watching Out of Sight.
Take this off. I'm in. Let's go.
They head to a snowy forest that's apparently private property, so it's fine. Marshall thinks about Nate's powers a lot, and while sure, he can fly, that's nice. The way he's almost exploded before, he figures Nate can do something with energy. They banter a bit, but Nate agrees that's probably true. He focuses on firing energy, and fires a small beam, destroying one of these action figures here. Marshall asks why Nate finally wants to practice, and he says that he figures these powers had to come from somewhere, so someone will likely come looking to reclaim them. He needs to know what he's capable of, not only so he can fight back, but know when it's hopeless and to run away. He also admits to seeing the giant robot speaking the weird Morse code, which he's even starting to understand.
Language learning is hard, so we made it fun!
Marshall takes this in and says if that's the case, they need to get Nate ready. The first blast was okay, but he knows Nate can do better. Probably if he gets angry, because there's nothing more meta than characters in a comic book using a cliche from comic books like anger makes my powers stronger. Marshall starts egging him on, finally striking a nerve with Justine would still be around if you knew how to conjugate. Nate slips into the alien language and vaporizes the figures. Marshall is impressed, then declares that a good start, but now it's pre-movie beer time. Oh, and Marshall wasn't using conjugate properly. Let's just say he meant that Justine would still be around if Nate could consummate properly.
Wow, chicka, wow, wow, what you gonna say?
And we're right back to the robot. It basically scans Nate, saying things like syncing their brains and language centers and their partnership. Those things are in progress but incomplete. It says the two are connected for life and there's a war coming, one where He will try to kill Nate and the entire planet. Will Nate do all that is required? Will he take his life?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Interesting conversation here as Nate asks Marshall if he ever thinks what he would do if he was Radiant Black. He jokes that he has like 100 ideas and at least 80 involve him getting crazy rich, but there is a serious undercurrent. He says Nate has had the powers for a while now, and heck, today was the first day he even trained. Nate says he's being careful, but Marshall says he lacks vision. He's a great writer, but not great at coming up with ideas, and Marshall would be willing to do a lot more. Nate says that's bull. Then there's an explosion, and you can probably guess from the color, it's Radiant Red, who greets Nathan by name. They fling Nathan, who summons the black hole and transforms into Radiant Black. Marshall pulls out his phone and trash talks Red, who snatches the phone and tells him to run before he absorbs his skin. But then, grab, and a confusing page here. See, if there was no energy trail, I'd be fine. Black straight up yeeted Red, who Team Rocket blasted off again. But since there is, it makes no sense for it to start on the ground and go up to the building, especially the way Nate is standing.
I get it.
I don't get it.
Nate gives chase, landing on top of a building. Red flies out and grabs him, slamming down through several rooms into a bar. They tell Nate that they know who he is, where he lives, and can get to him or anyone he knows anytime. If they ever see Nate again, this will be the least of the damage they'll do. Nate is consumed with fear and anger and unleashes an even more powerful beam that knocks Red down to their knees. We see that Red has a different power here, one that was hinted at to Marshall. He's absorbing that table, and it seems that absorbing things makes them stronger. But Nate is still at full power and holds an energy-charged hand at Red. Red's helmet is cracked, and we see a scared human eye. In that landscape we saw with the robot, we see Nate looking ashamed. He calms down and tells Red to never come back again. Of course, Red doesn't accept that mercy, firing at Nate's back. The two fire at each other, and they are thrown back by the beam war. Nate starts telling them off, but they hear a rumble and realize the building is collapsing. Nate somehow uses his powers as beams to support the walls. The people upstairs evacuate as Red realizes the bearing walls are collapsing. Nate tells them to go, even using energy to shove them and some others out. As Red and the others, including Marshall, watch, the building collapses with Nate inside. Marshall runs and starts moving debris, finding Nate in the rubble, seemingly dead. We cut back to Nate's conversation with the robot about their connection being permanent, war is soon, will you take his life? Nate doesn't answer, and the robot says his world is doomed. Nate's not breathing and has no pulse, and Marshall screams for help. But then, the black hole emerges from his chest and starts talking to Marshall. And then we see Marshall in the void space with the robot. When Marshall is asked if he will take his life, he says yes. Then he reaches out to grab the black hole. And that's where it ends. I mean, this was okay. Pretty decent issue. Not a ton really happened. Kind of boring, to be honest with you. Of course I'm kidding! This was friggin' amazing!
That was totally wicked!
What a freaking issue! Nathan's character growth, his unease at dealing with his powers, compared with Marshall's creativity and really jealousy. Then a fantastic fight with Radiant Red, where it's revealed that maybe they aren't just quite as bad as we thought they were. And then Nate dies? And now Marshall's gonna be Radiant Black? One tiny detail that I really liked that may not have even been intended, it might just be my interpretation, is how the whole thing with Marshall at the end may not have even been asking about the upcoming villain. When the robot asked Marshall, will you take his life, that may have actually been referring to Nate. Will you take his life, his role, his powers? Again, may not have been in the intention, just a little something that I noticed. Radiant Black, issue number 4, easily gets a 5 out of 5. Next time on a comically long review, we've sold enough graphic novels, it's time to get back to the story. Let's see the Omega Rangers get back to pursuing the Imperials when I take a look at Power Rangers issue number 7. That's going to do it for another comically long review. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching. Now that the video's done, you can let me know what you thought of this issue as well as my review of it down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button to let me know that you enjoyed this video. And if you'd like to lend any financial support to my channel, consider checking me out on Patreon or Ko-fi, or my Teespring store where you can get some great Orange Ranger merch just like this shirt. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. And we're right back to the robot. It basically scans Nate, saying things like they're sinking their blah, blah, blah. And we're right back to the robot. It basically scans Nate, saying that things like sinking their brains and language centers, saying that things like...